So here we are now, day 2 of the, Quake v Crunch experiment. Going with the tried and true captain. And it occurred to me that I will have to be eating all of my cereal dry, as they don't sell non-dairy milk in gas stations, dollar stores, or convenience stores. So I've already rationed out my single serving of the captain. I overheard something really interesting in the gym yesterday. A couple of guys have been, kind of watching me lift yesterday. Did squats, I did deads, leg press, all that business. And as I'm doing it, it's like that awkward, I don't want to be watching you, but I'm watching you thing. And yesterday was arm day, because it's Monday. It's always arm day. It's always curls and bench press and pull-ups at my gym, which is fine. Some of these guys I've seen do other stuff. But as I'm sitting there doing my calf presses, I hear one of them say, and I directly quote, "I never work my legs because they're already huge." Now, hold on, I dropped it. Now I'm gonna tell you something. You can have nice looking legs. You can have great calves. Your hammies could drop to the fucking floor and you don't lift. You're not going to be as strong in any of your other lifts if you're not doing squats and deads. And everybody says that, But what's interesting about this situation is that nothing prompted the comment other than the fact that I was lifting and working out my legs. The other gentleman was like, "Yeah, I run enough for my legs to be strong." Okay, that guy doesn't lift. Maybe it wasn't about me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being dramatic. But I do think that's interesting. Gym etiquette and gym social structure, hierarchy, and how people act in the gym is really interesting to me. If you're watching this and you don't lift in a gym, and you plan on doing it, a few things to remember. One, you're gonna run into a lot of fucker rabbits. If you're interested where that term comes from, Google it. People who go in and don't have a plan. They don't write down their numbers. They don't keep track of it or anything like that. They just go in and, do a couple, things on the machine, do some curls, do whatever, and then go run some cardio. And, that's fine if you're not seriously dedicated, but if you want to actually see progress and make progress happen, write it down. Keep track of it. That way you can see where you've been, where you are, and where you could go. You're also going to see a lot of things that you read about on the internet that seem like they don't really happen, but they do. Such as curls in the squat rack. Such as 4th rep squats. Such as people only doing variations on curls. I have no hate on curls. I do high cable curls, I do easy bar curls, strict curls with those, hammer curls, things like that. But they're not my main lifts. I don't start out with them. I don't go balls to the wall, usually on them the same way that I would say, my bench, my overhead press, things like that. But when that's the only thing you're doing and you're just in it for aesthetics, you're not going to get strong. You might look good, and that's fine if that's what you want. Personally, I'd like to look good and be strong. Unless you know the people you work out with. Nobody talks to each other. Fine. Most of us are in the zone anyway. But there is this kind of compensating attitude that a lot of people display, in which they try and outlive someone else without acting like they're trying to outlive them. Or talk about someone else lifting without talking to them. This happens quite often. Like what I was talking about a few minutes ago, with the leg comment. So if you've never been in a gym, those are the things to look out for. People spending 2 hours, or at least my whole routine, warm up, cool down included, about an hour and 15 with stretching and all of that, on the elliptical the whole time, sweating it out, day in and day out. All those little things, all those memes you see, it's just real. Fucking real. And you're interested in strength or power training, go somewhere where you can train with like-minded people who know what the fuck they're doing and aren't gonna curl in the squat rack. But if you really don't want to be a part of this kind of gym hierarchy of, you know, asserting yourself as better than somebody else in the gym, which I personally don't give a shit about, because weight training has always been about me, my numbers, and what I have accomplished. You know, the only person I compete with is myself, to be better than I was the day before. And if you don't want to get wrapped up in that bullshit, because it's tempting, it's really tempting, I feel like, for a lot of people to sit down and say, I'm stronger than that guy and I'm going to fucking prove it. And then they either get injured, they make an ass of themselves, or, you know, they buy into this idea that, you know, it's not about you. If you got into fucking strength training because you wanted to be better than the next guy, you're gonna burn the fuck out. And maybe that's a bold statement to make, and maybe I'll get some flack for that, but it's true. Because, you know, who gives a shit how many plates you can put on a fucking bar other than you? Like, when it comes down to it. Other people, you know, are gonna say, you know, that's awesome if they're also strength, you know, into strength training, or they're your friends and things like that. But for the most part, you know, you're not videoing everything, you're not doing all this shit. So when you walk into that gym and it's just you in there, dead silence, it's just the fucking heater or the air conditioner or what the fuck ever the sound is, and it's only you, what is gonna make you fucking push that bar to pull that fucking deadlift? Nothing but you. So don't, you know, judge your success by others, you know. Just because somebody can, you know, fucking bench press 2 times their body weight and you can't, doesn't mean you haven't done good things, but it also doesn't mean you shouldn't try for that. I mean, everything is subjective anyway. It's not like I'm ever gonna actually fucking probably put up, you know, 2 times my body weight in a bench. I have very poor upper body strength. But it doesn't mean I'm not gonna chase it. But it also doesn't mean that I'm gonna shoot for, you know, a 300-pound bench. It's stupid, I would die. Captain Crunch is gone. Yet again in my kitchen. So I definitely thought I was gonna have more time before I started cooking dinner to actually do the video log. But I got a little caught up today when I went grocery shopping after the gym, doing some things, so I'm a little behind schedule. Currently making raspberry, Fresno pepper spice seasoning for some homemade burrito-esque things. I'm not really sure how to else to really describe it. See how it goes. So yeah, recap of the gym today. Session was kind of had its pros and its cons for certain. In terms of energy going in, felt really good. Wasn't necessarily super stoked, but a lot of that had to do with being pretty apprehensive regarding today's lifts. I did opt out of Benevere rows, which I've been considering for quite some time. For whatever reason, they really tend to tear up my lower back, even with dropping weight, checking like range of motion, making sure that I'm not you know, throwing too much of my back into the lift itself, things like that. Which is a major bummer because I used to really, really like that lift, but since it's been giving me so much grief, I kind of am glad to be away from it, I think, for a little bit. So yeah, so that's usually my opening lift on this day, but since it wasn't, I went in for bench, which I think either needs some fine tuning. Well, I know it needs some fine tuning after I took some video today. I did a form check on it, and I mean it wasn't awful, but it necessarily wasn't perfect. So I don't want to keep going with my weight increases on that. So I got the 75, like I wanted, 5 reps. Been doing that for a little while, but instead of bumping it up further, I dropped weight. I did some reverse pyramid, shot video of each one to check my form. I think I'm going to drop weight back down and do higher reps, checking form each time on that. So I definitely thought that was going to bum me out, kind of give me a little bit of an energy crash. Surprisingly though, I held up really well. Went in, figured that my overhead press was going to also, you know, be pretty zapped, because I also didn't give myself a rest day, which was really poor planning. You know, I went straight from back and shoulder hypertrophy to yesterday's leg power day, which was a big success, but doesn't mean that I necessarily gave my back and arms enough time to recover. But, I mean, with that said, made sure not to discredit myself and my body. I'm pretty adaptive. You know, the 45 and 50 went up easy like it had been. 55 went up even easier than I anticipated. So, you know, decided to load the bar to laugh at myself a little bit to get that half body weight overhead press. And, I did 2 whole fucking reps, which I don't know if you don't follow my log at all. I don't think that you understand how fucking rad that felt for me to do that. Overhead press, even more so than my bench, has not been something that has fared too well historically. In fact, it usually sucks. However, today that was not the case. For me, that's a lot of progress. That's a lot of progress. Overall, like, energy was really great today, despite, like, kind of disappointing on some things that happened. As always, dips and pulls, the bane of my existence. All in all, pretty happy with today. Bench could have been better, but I mean, it's still too early to decide if, you know, Captain Crunch is gonna be the winner. But it's looking like a viable option. We shall see. Gonna cut this little monologue short though, because I'm cutting an onion and don't want all my Tumblr followers to see me cry. So, till next time.